Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny. Quitting your job to manage your pet's OnlyFans. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda, and I have been missing out on a huge business opportunity, apparently.
I think we all have.
I mean, Yoshi on OnlyFans?
New Year's resolution, y'all?
So, Trevin, welcome back. I know we took a brief little pause. We've missed you all.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope everyone had the best holiday and all that jazz. But, Trevin, what is your dreadful dilemma?
So I have experienced a pants awakening.
Okay, explain.
This actually does tie to a lot of my eating issues and self-image issues. So I used to have this issue with pants as a kid. And I'm
Okay.
sure all of my husky boys out in the crowd know what I'm talking about. But as a kid, I had to have husky pants.
Husky pants?
You never heard of this?
No.
Jean sizes would be like, a 24 or a 24 husky. And the husky would always be for a larger boy.
Okay, what?
So as a kid growing up, I remember when my parents were like, well, you have to have a husky size. And I just knew that that meant you're different. And I didn't like that. It really bothered me as a kid.
Yeah.
Now I understand that husky does just mean bigger. But to me, I was like, that's not even a cool thing. That doesn't sound nice.
Do they still do that for men's pants to this day?
I think it's a kid thing. They don't do it for men. Yeah, it's for when you're a boy. I was bonding with a coworker over how we were both husky boys growing up and how we had to have husky pants. And he felt the same way. He was like, yeah, I did not feel good about the fact that I wore huskies. And I thought, yeah, okay, I had that problem. So fast forward now, men don't have husky sizes.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll wear jeans that are my size and Emily will go, wow, it just looks a little tight on your thighs. And I'm like, well, sorry, I'm just built this way. And
Sorry, but the way that you said it, that she goes, wow, those just look a little tight on your thighs. Like, I guarantee she's not starting off with wow, is she?
no, not like that.
Okay.
And I thought, well, these have always been my size. And I have noticed that sometimes they are kind of tighter. And Black Friday, there was a little deal. My favorite pair of jeans, they had one that was called Athletic Fit on sale for Black Friday. And I was like, well, it's only $20 for a pair of jeans. I might as well just grab it and see.
Yeah.
So I got it. And I thought, I know your boy's got no business wearing Athletic Fit at this point in his life, okay? But I ordered it.
But you work out. Like, what is athletic?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what makes a jean athletic fit?
Yes.
So I ordered it. Well, then I looked a little bit deeper at what it means. And athletic fit means that it's just wider in the thighs for like more muscular thigh people.
Oh, hell to the yes.
So I get those bad boys in. I put them on. I'm feeling comfortable. And mama upstairs ain't got no complaint with the fit. But I'm sitting here thinking, I would have never bought athletic fit because I was always trained that the name of my pants were supposed to be mean towards me.
Right.
And now I'm sitting here looking at all the boys in the straight legs and I'm like, oh, I'm just the athletic guy.
What the hell? You have just opened my eyes to a whole nother universe of things that I didn't know. Because obviously I'm a girl, but even my brother growing up, we were like little twig children. I never even knew that existed. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know why the stigma was there, but yeah, maybe that was the way they said it. I guess we're going to have to go with husky. And I'm like, oh.
Oh my
And then from
God.
that point on, anytime I knew I had to wear the husky size, I was just, shit.
Oh, that's horrible. We need to get rid of that. I hate it.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're around now, but I know that's a sizing thing they did, and I'm sure a lot of people know what I'm talking about.
Well, you know what? To all of you former Huskies out there, you are now athletic, fit men.
Yes.
Give yourself a pat on the ass, okay?
Ooh, the tight ass.
Well, I also have a dreadful dilemma, and that is that my oldest daughter, Lila, has her first loose tooth.
Ooh.
And it's really loose at this point, and it's hanging on by a thread. I've got maybe a couple days at this point, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm prepared. I went to Etsy. I got her a pre-made little tooth pillow that she can either put under her pillow or hang on her doorknob. Has her name on it. It's all customized. It already got here. I already showed it to her because that part I don't want to be a surprise. I want her to have that and be excited because she's been so afraid of this thing coming out. And so I showed it to her and I'm getting her all hyped up and I feel kind of prepared. But what the hell? Like, how much money am I supposed to give this kid with inflation these days?
Oh,
like,
God.
What am I to do, Trevin? Give her a few quarters in the pouch like we got as kids or what?
Well, we're the working class, and so this is our chance to have somebody below us. So the children are technically below working class. So I don't think inflation gets to work for them the same.
Okay.
So I think at the most it's just $1.
Okay. And this is another thing, too. First of all, we're not like rolling in dough at my household. We're very, try to keep it pretty contained, right?
Mm-hmm.
But kids love coins. So that does make me feel a little bit better about not giving her a bunch of cash. I can just give her, a little stack of coins to put in her little piggy bank.
Yeah, just add to the bank.
I hope I'm doing this whole thing right. I don't know, guys. If you have any experiences with how to deal with the first loose tooth, let me know.
One of our podcast friends was actually just talking in our podcast group like last night or the night before about how they had to pull their daughter's tooth out for her. And it was her first loose tooth. And she was talking about the grinding feeling in her kid's mouth when she was yanking it out. She was like, it was so gross. They don't tell parents like at first.
Dude, I should have been in that group chat because that was me this morning. She gave me full permission. She said, go to town, try to. It's really hanging forward in the front, but it really needs to get popped backwards, So I tried a little bit, but I'm just too scared.
When I was a kid, I spent probably like an hour out with my dad one time on the front porch with him trying to pull out a tooth for me. And my dad, when he tries to do things that he can't get done, he does this super like built up angry thing he does. And I've got a lot more slender fingers than he does. He's got a lot thicker fingers. So he's trying to get this little kid tooth and he can't quite do it. We even did the string on the doorknob trick.
You did?
But my dad, the string kept slipping off his fingers and he was getting so mad at it.
Oh.
And that's what I always think about when I think about a kid losing their first tooth.
Oh, God, it's just so stressful. It's stressful for them. It's stressful for us. But yeah, when I tried to wiggle it, I felt the root moving and you hear those little cracklings. It's weird. Oh, God. But on a lighter note, we are going to be doing a game of 2 truths and a lie.
I've got 3 wires. Which one do I cut?
I'll give you 2 truths and a lie.
But wait, we don't have time for this.
Yes, we are. And I love mine this week.
Oh my God, you do?
I do. Also, I meant to say something earlier. I got attacked with a weird sickness just a few days ago. It was like a 24-hour thing, but my nose is still weird. So if I sound weird in this episode, it's not a New Year thing.
Yeah.
It'll be gone.
Yeah, like he's not usually this annoying. I'm just kidding. Honestly, I can't ever really notice a difference with you when you're sick. For me, I sound like the fucking crypt keeper. When I'm sick, I'm like...
You get more of a rasp to you.
Yeah. What the hell?
Wasn't like Phoebe and Friends that she always wanted to get sick because she said it made her sound sexier because the gravel gave her more like a sexy sound?
I don't sound sexy. I feel like I sound like an old hag.
Well, some people like that. So I wanted to do 2 truths and a lie about a drink that's been sweeping the nation for many years. I want to talk about coffee.
Ooh, okay.
And I know a lot of our true crime listeners out there, they love the coffee. Fun thing about coffee, when I went to CrimeCon, we witnessed the biggest Starbucks explosion. All the local Starbucks were getting packed with 2-hour waits just because all these true crime people, the stereotypes were 100% true. Just like every single one of them packed the Starbucks in between CrimeCon stuff. and the corporate didn't let them turn off the online ordering system. So we made an online order before, and even after making the online order, had to stand in line for 2 hours for the online order. And she was like, I'm sorry, we tried to call corporate, and corporate said we can't turn it off. Nuts.
Damn. Okay, you coffee lovers.
So I know you all like it.
I like it too, so I'm here for it.
So let's do 2 truths and a lie about coffee. Statement 1. Due to multiple incidents with classified documents, the Pentagon has banned coffee from all restricted areas. Statement number 2. McDonald's coffee spoons were once considered popular drug paraphernalia. Or statement number 3. The most expensive coffee in the world is made from poop.
Well, my first reaction is that statement 3 is the lie, but also life be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most expensive things in the world are just a big old pile of dung. So I'm going to go with statement 2 being the lie.
And you are incorrect.
Damn, I haven't gotten one right in a really long time.
I've been tricking you. So the lie is actually statement number 1.
Oh, okay.
So due to multiple incidents with classified documents, the Pentagon has banned coffee from all restricted areas. That is not true.
In my mind, I was like, I bet it is because they had like some really important documents and someone spilled their coffee all over it, ruined it, did something crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was the perfect lie. Actually, it is based off of something that's true.
Okay.
But the Pentagon actually in 2012 conducted research to figure out why coffee spills while you walk. They spent $170,000 with the study. So it's even worse.
And their findings? Question mark?
So there are actually like drawings and stuff where they did directionals and stuff like that trying to figure it out. And they actually talked about the science of viscosity and how coffee actually moves a little bit differently than water. So it's not quite the same when you walk.
Oh, come on.
They actually came up with the 4 best steps to take to keep yourself from spilling the coffee. Number 1 is don't walk fast. 2, don't take your eye off the coffee. 3, if you have to move fast, start slow. And 4, get an unusual cup. Not just a straight one. Ones that have like weird shapes and stuff usually are a little better at keeping the slosh in.
Okay.
But $170,000, and I've actually seen drawings of the math. It's so silly.
No, guys, come on. Come on. We don't have a lot of time here. Can we please do something a little more valuable?
Statement number 2 was true. McDonald's coffee spoons were once considered popular drug paraphernalia.
I don't know. I guess I just didn't think that was a thing.
So back in the 70s, they had what was called the McSpoon, which was a long coffee stir. I'll show you a picture here.
Oh, okay.
It's like a long stirring spoon, but then it has a little egg shape at the bottom that's just an itty-bitty little spoon. It kind of looks like a half of a seashell.
Yeah, and then it has the arches at the top.
Oh yeah, the M is at the very top on the opposite side. Back in the 70s, people were using those to get the perfect size bump of Coke and just apply right off of it.
Oh my God.
It was very popular. Like people were like, oh, I'm going to get a McSpoon of that. I forget exactly what the measurement was of that little tip. But people could actually just buy a McSpoon of Coke.
Oh my God.
And Joe Biden was actually one of the senators at the time that had to answer a woman's complaints about why aren't we getting these off the shelves and stuff. And then eventually they did get it discontinued in 1979.
Wow. The drug world kind of found like their dollop of daisy, right?
Mhm.
But not sour cream.
No. And then number 3, the most expensive coffee in the world is made from poop.
Ugh, God. I just knew that one had to be it.
So the most expensive and rarest coffee there is called Black Ivory coffee. And it is created through a process where coffee cherries are naturally refined by Thai elephants in the remote rural province of Siren, Thailand. And basically they just feed these elephants a bunch of coffee cherries and then they dig through its shit. And then they take the beans out and they do it because they say that the digestive enzymes inside their guts when they process their food does an extra like fermentation or something on the beans.
Wow.
And people pay, here, I'll tell you how much it is.
Yeah, how much?
So if you wanted to buy 1.4 ounces of just the coffee to brew yourself, it would cost $150.
Oh my God.
It is, let's see, around $500 a pound.
Whoo! It is probably pretty rare, and I guess at least the people digging through the poo piles are getting paid.
Yeah, there was a little thing about how they did that, and they had care people that just, their whole job was just to keep watching the poop and digging through it.
What a life. Can you imagine?
No, I could not.
Bizarre. So, even though this episode is not coming out around New Year's, I did want to kind of touch on that vibe a little bit in this episode.
Oh yeah, first episode of the new year. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, my 2 truths and a lie have to do with a ball drop, okay?
Okay.
Instead of a ball drop on New Year's Eve, like done in New York City, there are many cities that drop other items instead. So I'm going to give you 2 truths and a lie of items that are dropped around the nation on New Year's Eve.
All right.
Number 1, a town in North Carolina drops an oversized flea. Number 2, a Florida city drops a drag queen in a red high heel. And number 3, a seaside town in Maine drops a vomiting sardine.
Those are all interesting. I love 2. I really hope 2 is true.
It is fun, right?
The flea drop thing sounds so familiar to me. So I'm going to have to say 3's the lie.
Trevin, you have done it again.
Yeehaw.
How many episodes is this in a row that you've gotten my things right?
It's at least 2, which would mean I'm heating up.
I feel like it's the 3rd one. I'm going to have to look back and see, but I think you are really just a winner.
I think I saw a cartoon as a kid or something where they made a joke about that flea drop.
Oh.
I don't know why. It just sounds really, it's coming back to a core memory or something.
Well, it is true. And I did get a little bit of information from mentalfloss.com and a little bit from news.wfsu.org. I just wanted to give them a shout out because they talked a little bit more about the drag queen. Okay, so let's get into this. Statement number 1, a town in North Carolina drops an oversized flea is true. Why the town of Eastover, North Carolina would create a 3-foot-tall, 30-pound ceramic flea confuses some, but the town was once known as Flea Hill, and thus that's why they drop it every year. So basically, it's just honoring the town's original name, I guess. But what in the hell?
Weird way to do it.
Also, statement number 2, a Florida city drops a drag queen in a red high heel. So let me get into this one because this is really fun. And something different is supposed to happen, actually, for this recent 2024 New Year's Eve, which I need to look and see if it actually did happen this way. But let me go ahead and read this. So, after 25 years of dropping in a giant red high-heeled shoe on New Year's Eve, elaborately dressed as legendary Key West drag queen, her name is Sushi, okay, is the name of the drag queen. His real name is Gary Marion, okay? But Sushi is hanging up the heel. This recent 2024 New Year's Eve, they were supposed to have had a different drag queen other than Sushi because she retired. She didn't want to do the drop anymore after 25 years. So,
oh, well, yeah.
But it says the new drag queen is likely to be chosen during June's Key West Pride Festival. So I'm not sure if that happened in June. I didn't look that up, but I'm curious to see who's going to take Sushi's place in the red high heel.
Yeah, sashay away.
I know, so I need to look that up. And then the vomiting sardine by the seaside town, yeah, that was just a weird, bizarre thing I made up. I hope that isn't true. I didn't fact check it, but that just came out of my brain.
Well, I love the random choice you chose, vomiting sardine. It was weird enough for me to have been like, that's too specific. That's got to be real.
I know. That's kind of what I was going for. And like, I made sure that I said it was by a seaside town, so maybe that would make a little more sense, but you still sniffed it out, you little sucker.
Sniffer sucker.
Well, you know what else we can all scratch and sniff?
These ads.
Magic mirror on the wall, who are the most rotten ones of all? Hello, my darlings, and welcome to Rotten to the Core. Here, we will scry into the past and discover some rotten apples throughout our history. Have no fear, my pretties, for we shall learn a lesson, not only about their horrendous deeds, but also about our own power. Let's step out of the shadow of the past and help pull it towards the light. I am your host, Josh Waters, and I'll be the queen guiding you on our journey. Now, come along, dears. We have lessons to learn. History is waiting.
And we are back.
Hi.
And it is my week, my year. This might be my year. I have a feeling this might be my year.
You know what? I hope it is.
But before we get on with my year, why don't we get on with my story? I do want to say before I go on, I wrote this story on a NyQuil binge fest. And I didn't think I was going to be able to do anything that day. And somehow I still sat up and wrote a story.
Wow. So this might get really weird.
Might get weird, might be great. But if you hate it, my year is still coming. So we're good.
Okay, yeah. This doesn't count if you hate it.
So it's from the news. And here we go. No matter who you are or what you do, we all need a day off sometimes. A day off from responsibilities, a day off from a specific schedule, or just a day off from doing anything physical. Our minds and bodies aren't meant to constantly go, go, go and never take a break. We need that time to rest, recover, and find a little happiness of our own. That's much easier said than done, however, considering the world we've made for ourselves. If you're a parent, you can't just rest from taking care of your kids. And if you're an employee, you taking a day off of work could make things really inconvenient for your boss. Seriously, do you really want to do that to them? They already have to come into their big office, use a company card, get treated with respect.
Sorry for having a family, sir.
And count all that money they make. With all of that winning, it's really not fair to ask them to handle any discomfort. It's like when I would visit hotels as a kid. My parents would relax in the hot tub. I'd join them for a bit, but continuously switch from the hot tub to the pool, feeling the contrast between the two temperatures.
It's cold as shit.
The only difference between my pool analogy and the boss is that I was a kid, and kids are stupid. No one wants to experience that jolt over and over again, so why would you do that to your boss? You already come in, adhere to a pointless dress code, have to ask for permission to think for yourself, and get delegated work that isn't your job, all while trying to stretch what little you make? Kinda sounds a lot like losing, huh? So wouldn't it be more logical for you to just work through being sick or depressed? You're already used to it. Should your necessary comfort come at the cost of your boss having a good day? Many wouldn't think so. As you can see from some of my generalizations, I'm not too happy with what I'm seeing in the job market lately. I'm not saying 100% of employees are bright yellow grease farts, but I do live in America, where the majority are. Emily's employer has a sign that says, "It's okay to have an off day, and it's okay to take a day off." She told me about it on her first day, and 5 years later, I still haven't forgot about it. For my place of employment, that message would be considered a dangerous thought. If you plant the seed that taking a day off or being understandably less productive is okay, then that is just allowing it to happen. The lower level employees can't be given ideas that their comfort matters. What if they start demanding it? What if they form a union? What if they develop lives outside of their job? For management, that sense of control is what they need to feel secure. After all, a boss without employees is just a bossy person. And are you really winning America if you can't brag about having control over others? For our first story of 2024, I'm going to introduce you all to an employee not much different from you and I. An employee that will soon find that no matter how much PTO you accrue, there's no such thing as a day off. It was a day like any other at the business center of money-making corporations. Phones rang, elevator doors opened, and data was entered. The rows of grayish cubicles lined the 12th floor, where employees would sit and input the millions of dollars going into their boss's pocket. The perpetually sick Susan took breaks from her reports to open-mouth sneeze on everything within her little square workspace. Chantel looked away from her big office computer screen to watch The Office on her little phone screen. And Guy was on the lookout for Mr. Brutus. Guy had a tumultuous career at the business center of money-making corporations. It took no time for him to see the mistake he made by joining the BCMMC, but once he was in, he was stuck. When applying for a fast-paced and challenging environment, he didn't realize that it meant overwhelming and virtually impossible to succeed in. The culture of this business could best be described as trying to have a panic attack underwater. Employees would desperately grasp for any relief they could get, only to be met with suffocation at the hands of their corporate overlords. Mr. Brutus would assign unpaid overtime and harsher restrictions to force better performance, while employees faltered.
I can't take it anymore!
Each time a staff member would quit after reaching their breaking point, they were always greeted with cheers and a hero's farewell. The staff would line up by the door, shooting off party favors and chanting the person's name.
Congratulations!
You finally done it!
Take me with you!
Many different things would be heard from the crowd as they watched their former co-worker leave the parking lot, pulling tin cans on strings and sporting the words, "Just quit my job," written on the back of their car. Except none of that actually happened. The cheers were silent handshakes and private conversations. There were no party favors, and the closest thing to a group send-off was the open-mouthed stares given by the employees being left behind. Mr. Brutus would not stand for any happiness towards the departure of a worker. He ran a tight ship, and if someone couldn't keep up with his demands, they just didn't have what it takes to make it in this business. As soon as any quitter left the building, Mr. Brutus would always call a meeting, explaining that the company takes good care of its employees, and its turnover isn't that bad for a corporate company. Some workers would be comforted by this, while Guy knew this was just a way to change people's opinions of what they were seeing on a daily basis. As a person with healthy boundaries, it was already hard for Guy to work for such a company, but Mr. Brutus was the cherry on top of his Monday through Friday shit Sunday. He always put down people who drove cars that he deemed below his $90,000 Dodge Ram. He flaunted his unfounded beliefs every chance he got, and he always did this weird thing where he would squat during conversations in an attempt to resituate his balls in his tight denims.
Oh, yeah.
Guy could see through his tough facade. He knew that deep down Mr. Brutus was just a weak man who was insecure. He projected his shortcomings on others, used material things to boost his clout, and he definitely wasn't fooling anyone when he snuck those weird squat maneuvers. Unfortunately, none of this really mattered. At the end of the day, Mr. Brutus was wealthy and held a position of power over Guy. If he wanted to continue affording his lifestyle, he would have to continue being an unwilling participant to Mr. Brutus's demonstrations of masculinity.
Respect me as the man I am!
Sick Susan began wiping the mucus from her cat calendar, while Guy slowly stood from his chair, allowing a clear view of most of the office. He looked left and right. There was no signs of Mr. Brutus, just the sounds of bad posture and office phones.
My back fucking hurts.
Working hard or hardly working? Guy quickly snapped back to see Mr. Brutus standing behind him. I'm just kidding. I know you're not working hard. I pay you too much for what little you do already. Without words, Guy's mouth began to run dry as he grabbed the water on his desk. Water, huh? Mr. Brutus went on. I don't trust the stuff. Fish fuck in it, you know. That's why I drink tea. Tea's a real man's drink. Well, have fun. The gruff boss dropped a large stack of papers on Guy's desk before walking off. He began to sweat, looking over the desk full of papers that he already had to work on. I'm swamped! How do they expect me to keep up with this? Yearly reviews are coming up, and all this extra work is going to make me miss another raise opportunity, Guy anxiously said to himself. For 5 years, he had been subjected to this culture and Mr. Brutus's ways. The pressure was crippling, and Guy had reached his breaking point. Enough was enough. It was time to bite the bullet and ask for mercy. Guy stood from his chair and went to Mr. Brutus's office. Mr. Brutus? Guy said, while knocking on the boss's door. Oh, it's the water guy. Don't you have paperwork to get to? Mr. Brutus remarked. I'm just kidding. You know I don't mean what I say when I say it in a joking tone. Like when I tell you that I think your need to hydrate makes you a big puss. I'm just kidding. It's all fun for me. Guy tried to shrug off everything that was just said. Sir, Sir what? Mr. Brutus interrupted. Sir, Mr. Brutus. That's better. Please go on. I've been having a hard time keeping up. I'm just a bit overwhelmed, and it's really taking a toll on my mental health. I think I need to take the rest of the day off, and tomorrow for mental health. The anxiety has just been too much. Mr. Brutus sat back in his chair, dumbfounded. Have you tried pulling yourself up from your bootstraps? he asked.
You know, a lot of this mental health talk is just a way to keep money out of people like me's pockets. Do you really want to do that to your dear old boss? This company has done a lot for you. Are you sure this is the right thing for you to do?
Guy began to shake anxiously. Yes, it's just a day and a half. I really need this. I have the vacation. Now please let me take care of me. Mr. Brutus waved Guy off. He knew that he couldn't keep Guy from using his earned time, no matter if he believed in the reason for it or not. Although suspicious of the whole thing, he granted the request.
Please finish out the morning and go home at lunch. We will see you back here Monday.
Guy began to feel proud of himself as he walked back to get himself set up for a mini staycation. He finished up the work that was needed ASAP and logged out for the week. With his lunchbox in his hand, he began to walk toward the elevator where Mr. Brutus was waiting.
I hope you use this time for what you say and not just to have fun,
he said, reminding Guy exactly why he needed to take this time. The next day, Guy woke up without an alarm, but still at a respectable time. He organized the stack of mail on his table that he had been depressingly putting off, and he did the dishes. While eating his breakfast, he turned on daytime television and learned how Minecraft is indoctrinating our children into Satanism.
We need to panic!
And he just relaxed. Here, safe at home, Guy could let the world slow down. There was no need to procrastinate fundamental parts of life, and there was no more Mr. Brutus. He thought about how much Mr. Brutus was probably struggling without him, trying to do a job he doesn't know,
Stupid computer!
while delegating the work onto other workers.
Chantel, get in here!
It felt good knowing that he was probably having a bad day of work. With the next part of his day, Guy decided to do something that always relaxed him: washing his car. There was something about getting into a sparkly car that really brought him joy, and the act of cleaning it was so therapeutic. Guy put on his swim trunks and see-through white tank top, pulled his car out of the garage, and had a relaxing yet seductive little car wash sesh. He held his water hose between his legs, pretending he was peeing fresh water.
Oh, yeah.
He leaned over the windshield, getting his top wet, and took a toothbrush to the wheels. The car was looking good, Guy was feeling relaxed, and it was just about time for a shower. The only thing he needed to do was inspect that there was no dirt mist underneath the car, and he'd be good to move on to his next relaxing task. As Guy dropped down to his knee to inspect the bottom of his vehicle, he spotted something that didn't look right. The plastic on the bottom of his vehicle's body looked damaged, with a strange object protruding out. With his hand on the object, Guy pulled until it came off. There, he held a small black device with a blinking light. He immediately called the police to investigate. In September of 2023, a Seville, Spain boss was arrested for putting a GPS tracker on his employee's car. The unnamed employee had been diagnosed with anxiety after a negative, long-running relationship with his supervisor and was taking sick time for his mental health. The GPS tracker was spotted while the employee was washing his car. I got underneath the car and saw that the plastic had been broken, and there was this device attached, the unnamed worker told Spain's Antena 3 news show. The Guardia Civil police force arrested the businessman on suspicion of an invasion of privacy offense. Upon further investigation, the police found that the GPS device was fitted with a SIM card in the name of a different company hundreds of miles away. No one from this company had any record of the SIM card, prompting investigators to also look into charges of document fraud in relation to the SIM card contract. News reports ended with the man being charged for invasion of privacy while being investigated further for the damage to the employee's car and the SIM card. No punishment was ever given publicly. It creates a lot of insecurity, especially given the reason I was on medical leave. This only makes it worse and heightens anxiety, the employee also told Antena 3 News. What a boss move, huh? Well, not the cool kind of boss move, just like a move that a boss would make. Working for a company that sucks can be one of the worst feelings for a person. You don't believe in the mission, your boss doesn't respect you, you're not compensated fairly, and the worst thing is, you need it. It's always hard to find actionable advice within these bad boss stories. I can't change the way the system works, and if we all stop giving these people our labor, we will run out of money first. So let's just keep scraping by, surviving, and finding every little chance we can to stick it to the man. All we can really do is use our mental health days and hope things get better, because Taylor Swift taught me that karma comes in many different forms. Sometimes it's a cat, sometimes it's a breeze through my hair on the weekend, and even during certain international shows, karma is Travis Kelce. But the thing I've taken the most from that song is that karma is a relaxing thought, and that may be all that we're allowed.
Wow. Invasion of privacy. Say what?
I mean, that sounds pretty believable to me, but at the same time, to like sneak it like that, I don't know. Because when I was looking this up, I actually came across a bunch of people who said that bosses were trying to track their phones with GPS here in America. Some bosses try to argue on why they should be able to do that. So here I am, I'm trying to look this story up a little bit, and the guy in Spain's trying to do it in secret, and the Americans are just trying to find a way to call it legal. That just makes you feel a little sour, doesn't it?
Oh, God. That is so over the top, though. Of course, it's one of our stories, so it has to be kind of weird in one way or the other, but
Right.
I don't know. I mean, everything was so unfortunately relatable, though, other than the tracker, because I was trying to think in my mind, if I've ever had a job that I would go to and it was like Emily's job that you were talking about with the little sign, like, it's okay to take a day. I don't know that I have.
It
to be
blows me
honest.
away. When she told me that, I was like, that's legal? They can tell you people that? Like, at my place of business and other places I've been, you're inside my four walls and nothing exists outside of this. There's no better jobs. There's no other jobs. This is the only job. Do you want a different job? There's other departments within this job, but there are no other jobs. And for her company to just be like, oh, it's okay that even if you come in and you're just having an off day, we're not going to expect the world from you. That's great. And I know that her job is considered one of the top businesses in Kansas City to work for, but still,
I mean,
there's a reason why.
There needs to obviously be more things like that out there. If you want people to stick around, treat them like a human being that you know that we all are.
Right.
I don't know. I've never had a place that would ever be like, oh, you need to just take a mental health day. I've had places that have tried to put on the facade of that, but when it actually comes down to it, the belief in all that is not there.
I would get a lot of where you would ask for, it's like, could we just kind of work the rules a little bit because I really need this one thing?
Yeah.
The response I would usually get is, do whatever's right.
Yeah.
And it's so ominous.
Yes.
It's like, well, you can do it. And I'm not saying you can't. You actually do have permission. But I'm not going to be responsible for what that may do for your career goals later.
Oh, yeah. I never was given real empathy, really, from a business like that. So that whole thing was very relatable. But the tracker, God.
Yeah.
Did they find out for sure that it was this exact time the boss put the tracker on to see? Or had it been on there for like a really, really, really long time?
That we do not know.
Okay.
And I'm thinking the reason why this story had so many, like, because I had to make up the company's name, I had to make up all the people's names. I think Spain must do a really good job of protecting their people. And they're not going to be like certain states here that are going to give away everything. But I was like, the story's so good that I still had to talk about that.
Yeah, that hit like every point that I know you love to speak on. So that was a very, very Trevin story. But here in America, if that happened, there would be headlines with the company's name. This company does not give people sick days, right? Or like mental health days, don't you think?
If something like that happened, it would be big on the news.
Yeah.
But there would be people in the comment section saying, yeah, they should never be allowed that. And there would be a big fight between people on who stands on what side.
That's true.
That's just how we are.
Yeah.
I know bad boss stories are kind of my bread and butter, but I actually didn't intend on doing that. I was sick. I really wasn't sure what I was going to write.
Yeah.
I was actually Googling like crazy to try to find a story about somebody committing a crime while sick. And I just wanted to tell a story about how sick I was and how I felt like shit.
Yeah.
And then just like really kind of side with the criminal like I like to do
Right.
sometimes. But I could not find one story like that. And then I found guy on sick time for mental health GPS tracker. And I said,
yeah.
okay, I'll do that. Wasn't my intention. But I just kind of wanted to go with the moment and not work on anything I already had in my mind before.
Oh, yeah.
I just like, let's just go with like whatever sick brain's telling me today.
Hey, you got the job done. I mean, good God.
But GPS tracker is absolutely nuts. And I wish I did know more because that's the funny thing about it all. To me, is like not just the GPS tracker, but it seems like he illegally obtained the GPS tracker.
Yes. What was that whole thing with the SD card and from a different company? What is going on here?
Yeah, it looks like he forged a different company's name onto the SIM card plan, and the company was like hundreds of miles away. So then when they called the number and said, well, it's in your name, the company says, we have no record of it. So then it looks like he forged documents pretending to work for this company.
Oh my God.
So now he's going to get in double trouble probably for forging documents.
And that's a recent one. Oh my God. Wow.
Wouldn't know a name to look up though.
I know. I hope that at least people kind of know about this guy, or like the people around that area know about this company, because I wouldn't want to be sending people to go work there, you know?
Yeah, and I think you caught on the boss, Mr. Brutus. I did give him a trait that was a shared supervisor of ours.
Yes. Oh my God. No, it wasn't even just one trait. I feel
That's true.
like you fully embodied this horrible manager that you and I both had to work with. Oh my God. The water thing, the tea thing, the readjusting his balls while squatting thing. I mean, yeah, I immediately knew who you were using as your muse. That was so good.
There was a time where my coworker in the area at that job once was like, how come he always does these weird squats like in the middle of conversation? Like, what is he doing? And I said, he's readjusting his balls every time he does that.
Yeah.
Just the look in her eyes was so open, mouth like, oh my God. But that's what he would do. Shamelessly. And he was a very tall, thin man who wore pretty tight denims.
Yeah, why couldn't he just wear baggier pants? Do something. I hope for anyone's sake who's around that guy, something has been done, but just based on his personality, he still does it to this day, loud and proud. Wow, well, I also have a story to tell you all today. I don't know, Trevin, be on the lookout for connections, please, please, please.
Okay.
But I do want to give one little warning before my story this week. And that is, if you hate cursing, this is not the fucking story for you.
Oh my damn.
This is a story from the news, and here we go. At the start of each year, there are people who enjoy giving up one of their naughty habits in order to improve their self-worth. Maybe they choose to stop drinking on the job, or perhaps they vow to stop texting while having sex.
Frank just got a new dog.
No matter the toxic trait, this is a time of new beginnings and clean slates. That is, unless you become a criminal, of course. Today's story is a cautionary tale about what happens when you decide to break your New Year's resolution. For Danielle Wolfe, a woman living in South Carolina, it was tough to choose a New Year's resolution. She had a couple characteristics she needed to resolve, including pooping with the door open, giving her kids too much screen time, and having an extreme potty mouth.
Shit damn motherfucker.
Danielle cursed when she woke up,
Morning, bitches.
swore on her lunch break,
Pass the damn salt.
and even cussed in her sleep.
Get away from me, you cunt nuggets.
She used the F-bomb as an exclamation, verb, and noun on a regular basis, and was known to curse in multiple languages.
Terra estúpida.
Although sometimes her foul language was said playfully, Danielle knew she needed to cut back. She had tried holding herself accountable with a swear jar and washing her mouth out with soap. However, she would immediately go shopping once the swear jar was full, and kinda liked the taste of her soap. So at the start of 2014, she made it her official resolution to her kids and husband that she would stop cursing altogether. Danielle started out strong in January, censoring her anger after being rear-ended on a busy highway.
That nabbit, you son of a gun.
She softened her reaction towards her hairstylist in April after her hair color turned out incorrectly.
Gee willikers, it looked like poo on a stick.
and even used choice words in July when her husband spent way too much money on boys' night out.
What in the fork costs so much at Hooters?
But around the month of August, Danielle's tongue was growing sore from biting it. It was all coming to a head when one Sunday evening, she gathered up her husband and kids to grocery shop. Their grocery cart had an annoying squeaking wheel. Her children kept asking for everything, and her husband carelessly threw food items into their pile. Danielle gripped her cart tightly and tried to cool down in the frozen food aisle. That is, until her husband tossed a stack of frozen pizzas on top of the soft bread she had just picked out. Seeing her once fluffy and fresh bread squished aggressively into the metal shopping cart was too much for Danielle or her mouth. Before either could think it through, Danielle yelled out,
Stop squishing the fucking bread!
Not only had Danielle broken her resolution, but she had deeply offended another shopper on the other side of the aisle, prompting the outraged shopper to call the authorities. In mid-August of 2014, a call to local authorities was placed from inside a Kroger store in North Augusta, South Carolina. The caller, Michelle Smith, stated that there was another shopper in the store cursing at her two children. When police arrived, they found the vulgar verbalizer, 27-year-old Danielle Wolfe, along with her husband and two kids. When officers asked Danielle about the swearing, she admitted it. However, Danielle said that she wasn't yelling at her kids like the caller had stated, but instead at her husband for putting frozen pizzas atop their bread. No matter her excuse, Danielle was arrested on disorderly conduct charges. She was quoted recounting her experience to WJBF, stating,
They go, You're under arrest, right in front of my kids, in front of my husband, in front of customers. I'm like, when did I say this to my kids? I said that to my husband, that he was smashing the bread. I didn't harm nobody. I didn't hurt nobody. The lady said it because she was having a bad day. So because you're having a bad day, you're gonna ruin somebody's life?
Michelle Smith, the shopper who originally called the police, later called Danielle Wolfe and apologized. She explained that she was advocating for the kids, like she wished someone had done for her as a kid. But ultimately, she said sorry for getting into her business and that she hated that they arrested Danielle and put her in a police car. North Augusta Police Lieutenant Tim Thornton said,
We have a definite law that's been violated, city code, and we had a witness and a confession. You can't go someplace in public and use that kind of language in the state of South Carolina.
According to the South Carolina Legislative Services Agency, any person who shall use obscene or profane language at any public place or gathering shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction shall be fined not more than $100 or be imprisoned for not more than 30 days. As for Danielle, she gave the following promise.
I can assure you that I will never say that word out in public again. I will never say it to my children. I will never say it to my husband again.
As we start out the year 2024, I encourage those with a resolution to stay strong. Whether you plan on taking weekly bubble baths or cleaning out your inbox more often, make sure you also remember to watch your filthy mouth.
You know that potty mouth didn't keep that promise.
Oh my God.
I will not say it to my husband again. My kids again.
Can she really make that promise? I don't know. I mean, this whole story is insane.
Yeah.
Insane head to toe.
Insane law.
It's an insane law. It's insane that someone heard it and was so offended that they called someone. It was insane that she said it. I'll give her that. But my God.
Man, that's the most logical of it all.
For me, as a mother, have there been times that my girls have heard me cuss? Yes.
Yes, today.
But we teach them that there are bad words that you don't say unless you're a grown up, and you can't say it in public, and you can't say it to people. Like, we make it very clear. But yeah, no, I could relate to this woman. When I was writing the story, I was like, gives her kid too much screen time, does this, that. These were all things that I've been guilty of. I just want to make that real clear that I am not judging. Another thing that's crazy is that I don't know if I really explained it. I know I said she called and she said sorry or whatever. This was all captured by a news station, though. Like, they had gone to the woman, the witness. They had gotten her story. And then they went and recorded Danielle. And then Michelle called Danielle. And then they recorded their conversation.
Wow. They just wanted to see the tea.
You know what? This was like some little hot goss. I know it's not like a super small town in Florida or whatever. Key West. I mean, that's pretty big. But that was the hot goss.
How old was she again?
The mom, she was, I think, 27.
Oh, so she's younger. Okay.
Wait. Let me look. Yes, 27.
For a second, when you said Key West, I was like, oh, is it like those old Florida people that they just love to gossip? But nah, she just kind of got brought into it.
No, this was like a whole thing. And so the conversation, I didn't get fully into it, but it was kind of a sweet moment where the girl was like, listen, I was projecting my own childhood onto you because I went through some really bad stuff and people just saw the abuse out in public kind of thing and never did anything. So I get where she was coming from.
Right.
I don't know, though. I don't know. And then to say, I called them, but I really didn't want you arrested. It's like, well, that's kind of, I mean, you never know. When you call them, there's a high chance that they're going to arrest someone.
Yeah. If you wanted to draw attention to it, you should have called her out yourself then.
So there's another thing, too. They have kind of differing sides of the story where the woman, Michelle, was saying that not only did she hear her cursing, but she went over to the lady, asked her to stop, and then she started cursing back at her and all these things. And then in a lot of other articles, I just heard the lady kind of act caught off guard by it all. So I did want to put that out there. There's a couple varying different stories, kind of like my nail technician story, where it was like her story, I don't know what to do with my story kind of thing. I really don't know if she did confront her before calling 911 or not, because I was kind of reading a bunch of different things.
Well, you'd think if there was some sort of a confrontation, that would have been kind of brought up in the phone call, right?
Yeah, you would think.
So it makes you wonder if she said that originally, if she didn't try to build it up a little bit up front.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's so many layers.
Yeah.
So many layers. But I'm just like, I have to also agree. If someone threw a bunch of frozen pizzas directly on top of my bread,
and
I mean,
if it's your husband,
and if it's your
person
husband,
you're already used to yelling at.
That's so true.
It's so much easier to do that.
I don't know how your and Emily's like. I've been around you guys enough, but like, I don't know if that would be something that like she would say to you if you did something like that in the store.
She wouldn't yell at me in anger, but we would probably call each other a really weird name and then just kind of go on.
Yeah. I could see myself being like, Jordan, watch the fucking bread.
Exactly.
I get it. There's two different ways to view it. I don't know, guys. This one was a weird one.
That's such a crazy law, though, too. Just cursing in public in general, especially if she really just said fuck once.
Right.
A lady was so offended by it. And like, what about innocent until proven guilty? Like,
I know.
Check the tape, you know?
I know. And the fact that she was kind of trying to protect the kids was like her way of thinking. But then they had to watch their mom get freaking arrested in the Kroger.
Yeah.
That probably caused way more trauma than her saying, don't squish my fucking bread.
That'd make the mama cooler to me.
Oh my God.
Mama's got a rap sheet because she got a potty mouth.
I can just picture me, though, like in my real life. If Lila had to see me get carried away in a police cruiser, can you think of the drama that would occur?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The drama.
Lila would jump in the cop car with you.
Oh, so connections, Trevin.
I couldn't find any off the top of my head.
I know. I mean, you kind of based your boss off of a cringy boss that we had. And I kind of based my mother character kind of off me, just a little more gruff.
That's actually the only thing that I was kind of coming close to, is that we found a good way to shove ourselves into the stories on both of these.
Yeah. Like we found like a muse and we went with it.
Yeah.
That's really all I've got. I bet you that there's more.
Yeah. If there's a real good one that we're missing that's obvious, let us know because I'm really stuck on that one.
Yep. It is a new year. It is the same show and it is the same us, but it's just going to be new and improved from here on out. And I just can't wait to see what this year has to come.
Yes, big things, videos, we're doing it all.
Doing it all. So I hope that everyone is having a great week. And remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to have some elephant poop coffee.
Bye.
Cheers.
Happy New Year to all of those out there, whether you're wearing husky pants or athletic fit.
And do you think that Pentagon study on coffee was money well spent? Follow us on social media. We might post the diagrams. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or Threads. Live, laugh, larceny.
And do you have any petty crime stories about a horrible boss you had to work for? If so, send us your stories to livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And give our show the same review the coffee experts give Black Ivory Coffee. 5 stars. That shit was delicious. Review our show at Apple, Good Pods, or wherever you review podcasts. I actually like my face more on bad quality cameras sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. I think everyone does, right?
Well, like when we go to the self-checkout, I'm always like checking myself out in the self-checkout, and Emily's like, oh, I look so fucking terrible.
Oh my God, you
like,
think you
"No."
look good in those?
Yeah, I look like a mysterious hoodlum. Ooh, like sexy Spider-Man. Like, what's going on?
Oh my God, no.
Like, I'm up to no good because I'm on a security camera.